According to this article, it's now cheaper to rent than buy in all major U.S. metros. I'm here in the DC metro area, and I see it firsthand. Home prices are crazy, interest rates are crazy. It's really hard to own and maintain a home right now. But one thing for sure, this is not indicative to any type of housing market crash. Supply and demand is simply a huge issue here in America that needs to be addressed. We are short 2 million homes to meet the current demand. Now, the reason it's cheaper to rent than buy in a lot of areas is because home prices have just continued to appreciate to a level where your mortgage is simply going to be a lot higher than what you would pay in rent for a property of that same size and stature. Now, even though interest rates got to 8% in the middle of last year, home prices have continued to rise and appreciate. And that's the opposite effect of what we traditionally see as interest rates increase, home prices decrease. But again, in a lot of areas, especially the metropolitan areas, we've seen with the increased interest rates, home values still continuing to appreciate. Maybe not at the same level where it was in 2020, 2021, but home values have always continued to appreciate. And that just goes to show the issue with supply and demand that we're experiencing in this marketplace. Now, some people are going to say that people are going to defer to renting rather than owning a home, which is going to decrease the buyer demand in this market, while others are going to say you might as well get in right now because home prices are going to continue to appreciate.
You're saying it's cheaper to rent than to own right now by a lot.
50% cheaper to rent in America. As much as people complain about rents went up, dude, rents ain't going up nothing compared to what they're going to go do.
You would know because you have how many units?
15,000. 10 years from now, when you're 63 years old, the rents are going to go from average $1,800 to almost $3,000 across America.
So it's going to almost double.
Yeah, and it'll be a 4 or 5x return on those investments.
This is the result of a study by LendingTree, which indeed finds that renting is cheaper than owning a home in every single major metropolitan area in the United States. And this really underlines the unaffordability of the housing market, especially for younger people who are just getting priced out of the American dream. In other words, home ownership. So this study finds that homeowners pay about 37% more per month than renters, which is to say monthly mortgage costs can run about $550 more than monthly rents, or on an annual basis, you'd be paying about $6,500 more per year than a renter. And in cities like LA, San Francisco, New York, a mortgage holder can pay as much as $1,500 more per month than a renter. And in case you need some context there, the median rent nationwide is now about $1,500, compared with a median monthly mortgage payment that tops $2,000. Typically here in Southern California, it's going to be a good deal higher than that. This difference is a key reason that millions of Americans now say they just simply cannot afford a home and can't imagine a circumstance in which they can. The Trump administration...
Woo! Boy, it's going to get hot out here before it actually gets cooler. It's going to get hot out here before it gets cooler. But let me tell you something. You don't have to be hurt by this, because if you got to rent, rent. It's nothing wrong with renting. It's nothing wrong at all with renting. I don't see it at all.
Is well aware of this problem and is pondering various ways to make homes more affordable. And one such idea is steering people into 50-year mortgages as opposed to the more traditional 30-year mortgage. And in terms of a monthly payment, a 50-year mortgage clearly is going to have a lower monthly payment than a 30-year mortgage. But the danger here is you'll be saddled with debt for probably the rest of your natural life, and you'll end up paying far more in interest under a 50-year loan than you would under a 30-year loan. So are we any closer to homes becoming more affordable? Not a chance.
I know a lot of young people who say that they have been priced out of the housing market, don't want to play the ownership game any longer, and instead are taking that kind of money and investing it in the stock market and other financial tools, and so far some have said they're happy with their investments.
Sure, but it's a roll of the dice. Obviously, on a short-term basis, if you're investing that money, well, you're hoping that the strong market, and we've had a very strong stock market for the past few years, it'll keep working in your favor. The problem there is, until you enter the housing market, you're not building equity. Equity is the name of the game when it comes to home ownership, because you're now building up a nest egg for the future. And if you can pay off your mortgage before your retirement, then you're in really good shape, because then you've got flexibility, financially speaking, for handling all the other things that might come up. A large part of that is going to be health care once you become
What do you say?
older, but not to worry, because you'll have your Trump account to fall back on.
And that's true. The equity portion is the name of the game. Why is that important? Because I was able to go from a starter home to a permanent home because of the equity that was already in the starter home. So it's easier to not have to come up with a huge down payment if you sell one asset and buy another asset because your money's already in there. You're going to get hit with the tax liability. Go talk to your tax people on that. But you got cash to be able to buy something better, better place, location, better price. It doesn't matter. So there are benefits to actually owning it if you can navigate some of these trepidatious times and things like that.
Should you be renting or buying in today's housing market? Well, let's pull this out 30 years and see what path is right for you. So person A decides to rent, let's say it's $2,000. Every year the rent's going to go up about 3%. So in 30 years, this person's going to end up spending $1.1 million on rent. Now person B decides to buy, let's say a $400,000 home. They put down 10%. They get a loan out for $360,000 at a 7% interest rate. Let's say they can never refinance it, never dips below 7 ever again. You're going to end up spending $500,000 on interest. Plus you have the dreaded maintenance everyone talks about with homeownership for another $200,000 over 30 years. And you're going to pay about $250,000 in homeowners insurance and property taxes, bringing the total to owning this home to $1.35 million. However, the renter who spent $1.1 million does not have access to that money. But the person who paid their house off, they now have equity of $1 million to their name, and their monthly, they only have property tax and homeowner insurance now for $2,000, where the renter is now subject to what the rents will be, which will probably be anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 in 30 years from now.
Is renting a house a waste of money?
Well, actually, there's lots of benefits to renting. You can move out any time you like. You don't have to worry about maintenance, and you can invest the savings.
But every month my money's wasted on rent, so buying must be better.
Well, buying has lots of advantages. You can pay it off over time. Historically, property goes up in value, and you can also rent out a room.
But what's better, buying or renting?
Well, my simple rule is, if you're going to stay there for less than 5 to 7 years, rent and invest your mortgage deposit.
Owning a house and buying a house and taking out a mortgage and taking on debt ain't all that it's cracked up to be. The Realtor Association of the world has done a great job of saying renting is throwing away money. Because that's
okay. And let's talk about this real estate situation with realtors. If you tell a realtor you're interested in buying a house, most of the time they will not talk you out of it. Okay, they won't. Unless you're dealing with a situation where they just clearly see you shouldn't be buying. But if you got a lot of junk in the back that you're not telling them, or apprehensions or different things that may concern you, they're not going to sit back and talk you out of it. Even if the market looks a little trepidatious, people want to say, yeah, you got to do right by your client. It's fiduciary responsibility. I haven't seen any of them talk. And let me tell you why. Because I've attempted to talk people out of buying stuff, and they look at me like I'm crazy, and then commence to either leave me and go to another agent, and they buy it. Okay. So I stopped telling them you need to stop. Now, that's not true for everyone, but the ones I do engage with, I stop telling them, hey, you don't need to buy it right now. I think you should do, because that's me making the decision for them. And what I find out in real estate, when you start making decisions for people under the guise of, hey, you should do this to help you, and you try to lead them in that direction, don't be the loan officer nor be the agent, because some of y'all will just pop off because you just know you want what you want. Oh no. So I'll let it just play itself out. Don't blame realtors for pushing this, because I found if you're going to do what you're going to do, even if a realtor tells you not to do it.
what the American dream was 50 years ago. Buy a house, 2-car garage, picket fence, 2.2 kids. That's what the American dream is. The American dream today is economic freedom. Pick and choose wherever the hell you want to go. Keep it moving and stay flexible and keep your overhead low. So what people forget is that, all right, you know that if you're going to buy a place, first thing you're going to look at is the mortgage payment, right? So typically, I mean, the last 6 months, it's gone from 3% to 6%. That's double. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm pretty sure 3 to 6 is double. Good. But the three things that people forget about when they go to buy a house, and for those of us that have bought a house, they get it now. Those of us that have not is what I call the big three expenses. That's your taxes, your maintenance, and your insurance. Those are three things you do not have to pay for if you're renting.
I personally will always prefer renting over purchasing a property, because just like your rent can go up every year, your mortgage can go up too. Now, the loan amount itself will stay the same, but but interest rates, HOA fees, and taxes can increase your mortgage. And don't let it be a new bill, baby. You do not know how much you're going to really be paying in taxes until that land is a little lived in. People have seen their house note go up anywhere from like $500 to $800 sometimes, just because they're in a new build and they don't know what the taxes are going to be in that area yet.
That's why I'm not a fan of new build, but I have people that buy them. I just try to say, hey, you don't know what they're only guesstimating what the taxes would be based on homes that are in the area that fit your type of property, but don't think that it may be that exactly, because you can see a huge jump in that bill. I've never seen somebody tell me they had a huge drop in their tax bill on a new home construction. I just haven't, and that's kind of weird, but I guess that's the way the world is right now.
In my opinion, it's only smart to purchase a home if, one, you just have a super large family and that makes sense for you, or two, if you're purchasing because you're an investor and you want to make that an investment. In my personal opinion, buying a house is not a good investment if you're living in the house. And at least when you're renting, you don't have to worry about maintenance. When you are buying a house, don't let your AC break. That's a $10,000 bill that's coming out of your pocket instead of a landlord's pocket. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Chastity. I'm a realtor. I'm here to support you in whatever decision you make, whether it be renting or buying a home. I am located in the Houston area, so if you're looking to move in that area anytime soon and you want a single family home or even a multi-family home to buy or to rent, you could go ahead, click the link in my bio, send in your consultation form, and I can send you a list of properties just like that.
Let me de-influence you on buying a house. We bought this house that we're in right now less than a year ago. Our monthly payment is $3,304, but here's what else we pay for because we own instead of rent. Our homeowner's insurance is $168 a month, property taxes $215 a month, water $200, gas and electric only $71 because we have solar panels, but we also have a $139 a month solar panel loan payment that we...
Hold on. Gas and electric. She only paying $71 for gas and electric, $200 for water. Oh my gosh. She got it good. Homeowners insurance, $168, mortgage payment, $3,304. Shouldn't that homeowners insurance be rolled into that monthly payment plus the homeowner? It should be part of that. Unless I guess she could have had a note where it's more conventional and they didn't roll the oh no, that's insurance. They typically do that just for taxes, but so her bill really isn't $3,304. It's $3,304 plus $168. That's where her monthly payment is right there. These are just more expenses. And $179.
had to acquire from the previous owners.
Solar
Internet,
panels. Solar panels. $139 for solar panels. Wow.
$10 a month. Security cameras, $12 a month. That's
Internet.
$4,219 just to have a functioning home. If you're savvy, I'm sure you considered all of those expenses. But let's get into the ones you may not have considered that we've spent money on our first year of being here. Garage door repair, new springs, $673. We have sprinklers now, and those need to be blown out before winter, $120. Lawnmower, weed whacker, and a blower that we needed, $348. Plus a minimum of 2 hours every weekend to care for the lawn. This trash can cost me $150. This dishwasher is broke, $409.
Hey, I saw that same trash can. My wife bought that same type. She didn't pay that much for. I hope she did.
$100 for a new one. We are hand washing right now because after spending $3,500 to have a specialized mold inspection done, we've been informed that the basement has mold. $28,000 to $57,000 for remediation.
Oh no.
And homeowner.
Oh no. She should have been able to do that before she bought the property. Before she bought the house, they should have been able to do a mold inspection and tell you that it needed mold remediation. I guess she skipped the corner. I don't know.
Insurance will not cover any of it. That's $4,791 on unforeseen expenses in year one, $28,000 to $57,000 for a mold remediation that we will have done in year two. Do not get me wrong. I am forever grateful to be here, to be a homeowner, but these are some things to consider before purchasing.
And she's not wrong. Those are all the things you do need to consider before purchasing. All right, cool. Man, let's go to the next topic.